How to ruin a week in 3 simple steps. 1. Be extremely upbeat, even more so than you normally are. Remember, you must never let your happiness level rise above 75%, lest you want the wrath of the ancient gods to strike you down with great force. Wow, it's fall already! Finally! It feels so nice. 2. Whine like a little baby, even though to the outside world, what happened to you isn't that drastic. Oh my god, please, somebody help me. It just happened out of nowhere. It really hurts. Okay, ma'am, can you stand up and walk at all? Is anything broken? No, and I can walk okay. It just hurts like hell. Okay, can you open your mouth and let us see your teeth? Okay, good. Nothing knocked out. Well, that's a relief. So, am I okay? Pretty much. Take care of yourself, you hear? 3. Pretend you're the Phantom of the Opera for a week and keep your abode covered in darkness. No one must ever see your wretched visage again. I'm hideous! Hideous! Who could ever love me now? But alas, not all is bad. Fear not, my child, for you will see the light of day again.
Hope you liked it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
good
love
morning,
that.
good evening, good afternoon, whether you are here live with us or watching us on YouTube or anywhere where you can get your podcasts. Welcome to Read the Podcast. That wonderful intro was created by our new host, Misty Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had an interesting week, didn't you?
I sure did.
All right.
Yeah, the thing is, I fell on my bike and I scraped up.
Oh my god, I thought you were like hit by a car. I got so worried.
That was like the only available one that I could download. It sounds really dramatic.
I love
but
it. It was great.
Thank you. Yeah, I just fell. Some metro rails, kind of like my bike got caught on like the metro rails, and it kind of like just it fell over. It scraped up my face and one of my knees. So I'm still healing, but I'm okay. At least I can talk now because my lip was also a little busted earlier.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll come back to your story here in just a moment because we are going to check in with everybody. War Wound says Walter, by the way. Welcome, Walter. Let's check in on the other side of the world and see how you've been, Renara. I hope you had a good weekend off, and I hope you're doing okay. So, how was your week?
It was okay. It's been a bit, again, my weeks are consistently up and down. I have my new microphone.
We hear
I hope
it.
I sound a little
I love the
bit clearer.
difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, going back maybe a bit, I had a crisis, a midlife crisis in my 20s of why bother doing this? Oh, my hardware's not working. Everything's going wrong. And then Eldurrino helped me out and showed me what was going wrong. And then the Eldurrino linked me to something on Twitter. And I then handed in a sample, and there was a small little thing where I said, and I got the call back, and I was wondering if any of you got picked up on that, but I guess no, because I hadn't told you guys about this yet. They actually asked me for a callback on that very thing. It was a callback for a character called Agatha. She's like this priestly sort of like nun in this video game. It was going to be paying, so I spent all week perfecting this audition. I was like, right, I'm zeroed in. They gave me a sample of the script. I did I swear I did everything right, and then I didn't get it.
Oh.
And then they said they would keep me in mind for future projects because these people seem to be they advertise quite a lot of their characters as they turn up. So I'm like going, this is good. I have done some marketing, as I think Crown Stag would say, which is that good things. Things have happened.
Hey, callback is something.
I know, right? It was like the first thing I did with this new microphone, and I got a callback. So I was like, oh, this is a good start.
Right.
Like Walter says, shortlisting is the real win there. Way to go.
Yeah. I have 95 sets of individual Foley that I need to do for chapter 3, which is looking like, oh my god, a mountain, but chipping away at that. It's the most Foley I've done for a chapter on my channel so far, because I keep exponentially growing that every time I do one.
Nice.
So the next one's going to be 100. But yeah, no, that has been the week.
That has been your week.
The week.
Very cool.
Very cool. Misty, I'm going to skip you because we're going to focus on you this whole episode. So I'm going to check in on Eldurrino.
Oh, wow.
How was your week?
Excuse me while I clear my throat. It was short, I guess. So as I mentioned last week, I have been afflicted with COVID. It's been strange. Fortunately, my symptoms have not been that bad, but not being able to smell things is very strange. I don't like it. But I'm coming around the bend, so I'm very, very happy about that. So I've just been working from home for the most part this whole week. I was slated to help Jeff Leeson with a project, but I had to cancel that last weekend because I just was not feeling it. So I didn't want to give a terrible performance because my part involved a lot of screaming and I was still kind of phlegmy, so I didn't want it to come out as so
You're a swamp monster.
Nice.
So yeah, fortunately though, yesterday one of the project that I've been working on for I guess the past few months now, he contacted me again and asked if I was ready for more work. This was for that project called Vegas Dynamite, which has actually been renamed, I think, but yeah, he asked me if I was ready for more lines. I was like, absolutely. I'm just coming out of this illness, so I'm really ready to get back into the swing of things. He sent me a script. I sent him my quote. I'm just waiting for him to respond to let me know if it's adequate, and then I'll be hopefully recording those tonight, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm very, very much ready to get back into the booth. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. I've just been hanging out, relaxing as much as I can, playing Back for Blood and getting called curse words a lot.
Oh,
so
stop
that's
playing
fun.
with randos. There's the problem right there.
Look, none of y'all have been around for me to play with, so because everyone's playing New World and wasting your lives on an MMO. So no, but yeah, that's how it's been going.
Gotcha.
I heard respawn, not respond. Sorry, that's why I laughed.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Walter says guilty. By the way, Pashley, hello Pashley. Enjoy your football. Thank you for lurking. So our previous host, wow, Pashley is taking a peek in. So
he is a ghost as well.
Wow. For me, so last week I got all my lines. So episode 3 of Escape the Algorithm has been recorded for my side of the lines. I played Jesser, which is a YouTuber on it. Paid gig, came from voices.com. Really can't complain. The narrating is done for that foreign video review site. So that's been paid off, and I'm hoping to see some videos of that soon. Let me pick your brains all real quick. So one individual from voices.com reached out to me in regards to a Spanish. It's an 8-minute video instructional in regards to medical equipment. The price is quoted at $500 for 8 minutes of voice recording, but they want me to dub. They want me to record it and use the video and sync it all together. And they asked for a quote, and I couldn't figure out how much to put in for it. So keeping in mind that I've been doing this a lot with my TikTok series, The Killer Case Files, I feel like I have a lot of experience for it.
Sure.
I'll let you all know how much I quoted, but I'm curious how much you all think I should have put in for.
Do you have a separate quote when you submit things for editing time, strictly editing time?
I do not. This will be the first time I do it commercially.
I would almost try to come up with one, just because, like, generally speaking, you'll do your basic editing, such as compression and noise removal and such, which doesn't take a whole lot of time, so you can factor that into your price point. But yeah, if they're looking for any additional editing time, I would come up with a separate quote for that as well. Just because it's not something that is normally requested. As far as what you want to charge, I mean, that's really up to you and what you think your time is worth.
So the interesting thing is that Voices has actually altered itself now, and it has the three different trees, which is the singing, the voiceover, and the editing now. So that's something to keep in mind. Sorry, Renara, go ahead.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, because I do this thing where because I charge per word so that it's exponential to the size of the project, and so I'll have my base charge of just the raw audio, and then I say if you want me to edit, add effects or whatever, I double it. So if I'm charging 40p per word, I'll do 80p per word if they want me to edit it as well. So that helps me factor in the time needed, sort of thing. That's what I've started with. I haven't had many opportunities to give that. I've only had like 2 opportunities where they've asked that, but that's where I'm starting. That's what I started with, because I find it difficult to, like, because if they're just giving a flat fee of this for this project, I find it difficult to go, is that worth it? So that's why I split it down in like per word, so that I can say, right, per word of my effort, it's worth this much.
Gotcha.
And then however big that project is, that still stays the same no matter how big the project is. Yes, I've had some of my students go, but miss, what if there's only 2 words, you only get given 80p? And they're going, yeah, I know, that's the downside. But yeah, no, that's where I sit on it.
Out of curiosity, 80p is how much in American?
Oh, good gods, I think that's just about $1.
Okay, gotcha.
I think.
Just curious.
Something about that. Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
Any input, Misty?
Yeah, with that, honestly, I have had to do that kind of work on Fiverr before, but really with that, I wouldn't be able to say how much it would be for Voices, because comparing like the price points for both sites is no, terrible. So
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think I doubled. Yeah, I think I doubled my fee, but yeah, it's really low. So if I did it for like 5, depending on the length of it, I did it for like $10.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's been very rare cases where that's happened, but I have had to do that. Like, yeah, we need to sync with the actual video because it's in a foreign language and we needed to originally. So it's a little tough, and it definitely requires a lot of focus and concentration and getting everything just right. So yeah, really, really go for it and get something that you think would be worth it for your time.
Walter asked if they offered a range. They did not. At the same time, make it seem you're giving them a deal as good faith effort to build a continuing relationship. I agree with that statement. I quoted 200, so we're waiting to see how much we hear back. I figured it's because I'm getting 500 for the recording already for the audio. That's if I get the gig, of course. Voices.com takes 20% of that in general. So I figured, another 140 or 160 bucks on top of it for like an hour's worth of work. I'm probably not going to complain.
I almost think it'll be more than an hour. I feel like it'll probably be like 2 to 3, depending on how apt you are with the software that you're using. So
I'm actually really good at it now, I think, because of everything that I've done with the TikTok series.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and if that's the case, then yeah, I would say that's a fair price point. But yeah, I would definitely going forward, I would definitely kind of keep a general price range in mind for any additional editing that you might have to do, such as, like if you think it's going to take an hour, quoted $100 or whatever. Yeah.
Agreed. Love it.
80p is $1.10, I think, apparently.
Gotcha. Is that pence?
So that's 80
Okay.
pence, is an 80p in England.
Okay. I was just curious. Sorry, it's just
No, it's fine. It's okay.
Well, so obviously the new person in the room, Misty, hello and welcome again. Thanks for joining this little motley crew that we have together.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So first of all, of course, you've already talked about a lot of your week. So I'm sorry to hear that you got hurt. Demand to be paid in exposure and experience. Oh, Burnham. Oh, we've talked about this. Sorry to hear that you fell. Hopefully you're doing okay. It's interesting to hear that we have the Phantom of Cold Read, and I appreciate that. That was a good reference.
Thank you. Just wanted to do something fun. My partner actually made that little joke. I sent him a photo of me with some gauze over my face, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, the Phantom of the Opera."
So let's get to know you. Let's get to know so let's talk about how long have you been doing voiceover voice acting for?
Been doing this for about, I'd say at this point, like 4 years. And it's just super novice still, even at this point. I do some paid work, like I said, mainly on Fiverr, but I'm looking to actually join voices.com really soon again. And right now, I'm mainly focusing on auditioning for character work, just character auditions and right now I'm doing a fan dub of a project, but that's what I want to focus on because I've mainly just been doing professional, very small business commercial kind of stuff. And I feel like I want to branch out at this point.
Good. Sure. So how did you get involved in voiceover?
It was just something that I wanted to do because I've always been interested in just acting in general. So I thought since I moved, I lived abroad for about 8 years. And when I did so, I kind of lost a lot of the opportunities I had in the US to do acting in person. So I thought, I think I can look up stuff online. Maybe I can. I just decided one day look up voice acting jobs or something. I just did a random Google search, and also I was in a fandom back then where it was very common to do sort of fandom projects. So that encouraged me to sort of practice. So I started with my phone, of course, just something very simple, and it was just a way for me to still connect with that very artistic side of myself that I wanted to keep alive, even though I had limited resources. And then I eventually got my Blue Yeti, and I started doing Fiverr work from there.
So you actually were doing Fiverr work on the Blue Yeti?
Yeah. That's
was it one of the just like the pill-shaped ones, the big ones, or?
Yeah, it's the big one, the USB one. That's still what I have currently.
Oh,
but
okay.
I am looking at getting a new microphone. There's actually one on pre-order right now that I'm really interested in. And I think it's still I think it's the next best step for me. It's not like overly super high priced because I don't think I'm at that level just yet. But it costs $169, so I think that's a good price point and
That
a good
sounds about
quality level. Yeah.
So you do a lot of work. How did you get involved with Fiverr? Was it just the thing and you just decided to go there, or is it just Fiverr, or do you do other sites too?
Right now, I'm actually balancing between, so Fiverr is where I do my paid work, and then Casting Call Club. It's where I'm focusing my character auditions right now. And while I haven't landed any paid gigs there yet, I have auditioned for some and they haven't like gotten back to me yet. So I'm really crossing my fingers with that.
Sure.
But I have gotten some roles there. Currently, those are still not in recording stage just yet, but I'm really looking forward to that because I've been on there for 5 years around, actually, like 4 to 5 years I've been on that site. And just never really gotten anything until this year because I have a big problem with motivation. And
as do we all.
If I put my heart and soul into something and I just really feel like I'm doing good or I did a good job and then it consistently doesn't go through, it kind of put me in a kind of a sinking mood. It's like, I'll just wait. I'll give it like a few months and see what happens. And then I went back, and then if I saw a couple projects I was interested in, I auditioned again, and then never heard back from any of those. And it was until this year that I really took my recording environment seriously, because I thought maybe that can help me. Because when I was still in El Salvador, I lived in a room, just a room. It was just a room. It wasn't an apartment. It was just a room. So I had no opportunity to really do much with that space. So until now that I have my apartment, I bought a few things and
made a little makeshift booth thing, and like it's very, very primitive, but it helps with echo and stuff like that. So really happy that I think has really motivated me a lot, and I think that's what got me some of that work too.
Good.
Nice.
Catching up with chat, Walter says that the 179 deal for voices.com ended last week, unfortunately. I would expect to see one, because I joined on a Black Friday one, which means that my renewal is coming up. But I joined on a Black Friday one. So something to keep an eye out. Usually, I think it was like 200 off when I went in. It was just 300 for the year. Walter says, literally the hardest thing about being self-employed is motivation. It affects everything from discipline to quality of work. 100%. I tend to guarantee with that. So I mean, all of my experience with voices.com have been on the negative side. Have you had to deal with a lot of people that are maybe like, do you feel like are taking advantage of you, or the feedback is not very constructive? Have you had that with your dealings so far?
Oh, definitely. The problem with dealing with Fiverr, that's why I really, really, really want to get to a better level. That's why I want to try to do something with voices, because I want to get to a better level where I think I don't need that anymore, because it is tough to sort of set standards there, because it starts at a very cheap price point. $5 for like a recording is like the base. And up until now, I thought that's what I don't think I can go higher than that, because I have a lot of frequent clients who I feel very much depend on that price point. And sometimes, depending on like one or two of them, sometimes they get a little iffy, where it's like, oh, your price point is $5 for 100 words max. I have 2 scripts, both of them together are like 100 words or less. I'm like, okay, no, that's not how it works. It's per project. It's like, can you just do this once? Just this once. Come on, please. I'm like, no. And then some other guys that were like insisting, like, I don't have the funds at this time. Can you do this? And then I'll pay you. And it's like, okay, no, because it's just way too tricky. Sometimes you can't really depend on people to follow through with that. And I don't want to be insisting later, like, hey, you didn't pay me. And that's just not how the site works. So really just try to enforce, like, hey, you can order once you have the funds. Really wish I could help, but especially just sort of emphasize that the site itself is really based on make sure that you have the funds first.
Right.
I would certainly say, with the fact that you've been doing it for so long, I wouldn't be afraid to raise your rates, because as time goes on, you know, the cost of living always is going higher and higher, and therefore you are going to need additional compensation in order to help cover bills if you want to do this as a full-time gig. So I understand that you want to continue to retain your clientele, because you've built a relationship with them and they are always expecting this kind of cheaper price point. But by raising that rate up, you'll quickly figure out who is actually going to be reliable in the long run. You know, like, even if you were to double your price point tomorrow, you know, like, there will probably be a good portion or a good percentage of your clientele that'll say, I can't do that anymore. And that's unfortunately just how things have to be. Like, you will find that there are people out there that are more than willing to pay you what you believe you deserve, you know, $10, $20 for 100 words, whatever the case may be. They will, if you've built up a good enough rapport with them, they will be more than happy to compensate you for your additional living wages or expenses, et cetera, et cetera.
There also might be other people out there that might look at how low you charge and go, oh, they're not as experienced. I need someone who's more experienced. So they might look directly at the price point and go, like, oh, okay, I'm looking for somebody who will charge about this much because I need this much experience. Some people already have their expectations of what equals what about experience. And so by keeping yourself in that lower bracket, you're kind of stunting your growth in that way. So I would say, don't immediately go, right, $100 or whatever, but like definitely just incrementally, as your experience grows, just your price should grow with you. And I mean, I've done a couple of times with that, and some people have gone, no, and I've been undercut. because I did get once undercut. But it is just how this market kind of works, I think. And I think we're all our own racehorses in this race of creativity. So
Right.
that's what I
Yeah,
think.
and I know with well, I guess with voice acting in general, as we've mentioned before, it's always a race to the bottom. People are always going to want to get the most out of you for the cheapest price point, but I feel like it is important to recognize your own value as well. Like Renara said, don't go from $5 for 100 words to $100 per 100 words. Like that's such a huge step, and you're probably going to burn a lot of bridges with it. But yeah, take it in small increments. You could say I'm going to do $7.50 for 100 words, or $10, something along those lines. And you will definitely see that there are people out there that are more than willing to pay you for that, because they know that you're experienced, that you're good, and it also helps make room for people who are willing to pay that and can see, you've taken 400 jobs total, and now you're charging $20 per 100 words. They'll recognize that you're very experienced, and they will go right to you, as opposed to, looking at the $5 per 100 words and think, oh, this person's inexperienced, or is just, taking this as a, I don't know, side gig or whatnot.
They got locked down in COVID. They're just trying this sort of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, for me, at least once I get my microphone, because I feel like once I have an XLR mic and an interface, that's already going to make a big difference with a little bit, difference with my audio quality. So I think that the investment that I'm going to make, because it's not just the microphone, it's the interface and the cables, and it's a big investment.
Mhm.
So I feel like with that, I think I can start slowly going like $10, maybe a little $15 in the near future. We'll see, because it is going to be an investment that I want to sort of put a lot of support behind, to say like, I feel like I want to make this worth it. And thankfully, at least with some of the work that I've done, that I have in the works with my character auditions, I feel like that is my motivation, my main motivation to sort of go for that quality, because I want to put my best work out there.
Mhm.
And I'm really going to see if I can hopefully keep some of those frequent clients, because yeah, it's been great to have that support. And also, I think Walter asked a question there. I currently just have one gig on there. It's just a regular recording gig, but I do know some people have different gigs even within voice acting, which is like, I can do a greeting or something, and then the other one is like voicemail. They sort of separate it. I kind of just have mine all on one.
So let me ask you, are you level 1? Are you level 2? Where do you stand right now in Fiverr?
Right now, I fortunately, because of the system there is a little it's a little weird lately, especially level 1 again, because it was a time when it sort of calculates your response time too, and sometimes I am not like always checking my phone.
Wow.
So that affects a lot, because they check every month, and if you don't meet those metrics, they have like a couple metrics for like each level, but the highest I ever was when I am able to sort of be on top of that all the time, level 2, because anything higher than that, it is insane. Like they require you to earn, I think you have to earn a total of a really, really, I can't remember how much, a large amount of money, like in total of your entire sales. It's like, I'm not even close to that yet.
Right.
Sure.
And this is one of the reasons why I've never been too big of a fan of Fiverr, is because they do have that weird stepping stone type of thing. By the way, it's earn at least 20,000. I just looked it up. So for those of you that are curious, you can actually look this up on Mary Pixels has it. So I will put a link to where I just found this. And what, like, I'm posting it right now.
20,000 per what? Like month, year?
Like lifetime earnings on the site, I believe it is. You have to have at least, make at least 20,000 from your gig since you've been on the site. It's like, well, I'm not quite there yet. So it's a little hard to get there when, you start very low in terms of your rate. And also that's just to get to
I can't remember. I think that's level 3. I
Yeah,
believe. I
this is
can't
level
remember
3.
how.
Yeah, this is
That's level 3.
Mhm.
And then anything above that would be like a top rated or like a top seller, and that is something that they just pick. They just sort of evaluate you. Like once you reach level 3, they sort of just evaluate you every month to make sure you don't drop down. But then they won't like drop you up. Like they won't like put you up there necessarily really fast. It's sort of just evaluating you until they somewhat determine that you would be a top seller.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I mean, I know there's an algorithm behind it, and there's probably somebody pushing you along. It just seems, and again, this is because I've had so many negative experience with it. It's just, it seems like such a rat race, and I've never been a big fan of. You have to cross this line to get to this level, you know.
Right. Well, it's not necessarily even that though, because like platforms such as Twitch are in the same vein. You know, you have to have a certain amount of viewers recurrently throughout an entire month before you can get affiliate, and then that number has to increase in order for you to achieve partner. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of no, I don't know. It's not really a pyramid scheme in my opinion, but it's
a rat race for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost a system designed to I don't know, really kind of extort you in a sense, which I understand why, because you're using a platform in order to make money, and the platform needs to make their own cut of it as well. But yeah, it's just some of the aspects of those type of sites don't really seem fair in the long run.
But for level 1, you only charging $5. That's one heck of a deal. So good for you. I'm glad that's working out for you. Catching up with chat. Burnham says Fiverr sounds like so much work to beat the algorithm, and I'm on TikTok. Walter says all gigs not one. That's why people do more gigs, to boost the numbers faster. Yes, I agree, and I tried that too. It works better for SEO savvy folks who can do this work full time, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I've said about voices.com too. It's just, if you can't focus full time on it, it's hard to justify full price. And this is with somebody that I've made back what I've invested in. If I had, because most and Eldurrino will probably agree with this. Those emails start coming in at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And if you jump in right as they come in, you know, you're definitely going to get listened to. I mean, I put in like over 800 auditions. I've been shortlisted like almost 40 times. It's a grind. It's a lot for a person.
Yeah, those pay-to-play sites especially are definitely they favor people who don't, you know, have anything else to do during the day, which it's, you know, obviously that's the long-term goal. Most voice actors want to do this full time. They would love to be able to be near their computer at all hours of the day, and something comes up, they can just jump on it immediately. But for people who are just getting into it, or just, I guess, aren't as experienced, I'll say, it's hard because you need to have a full-time job in order to pay your bills.
Absolutely.
Like, unless you live with your parents or something like that. But even then, you still want to pay for food and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it's I really wish I had more time to sit here and be able to do everything that comes across my desk, but that's unrealistic.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, Missy, do you have an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5 job by itself? Not saying what it is or where it is. Just do you have a regular job?
I do work from home, and that has been a complete blessing, especially this week. It's just been just being able to know that nothing that's happened so far, nothing that's really going to happen, as long as it isn't like super major, is going to affect my work. Like, I'll still be able to do my job every day, and thankfully, yeah, it's enough. It's a little more than enough to pay for everything that I have here in a little apartment and my interests. So I'm really hoping that, still hoping that I'll be able to really make something out of my voice acting career, so that I'll be able to have a little bit more in life, just a little bit more.
Oh, certainly. Well, that's also kind of convenient. I don't know how lenient your job is about like what you need to do throughout the day. But I know, like in my case, I work IT usually from an office, but should I need to work from home, I have that ability to as well. But like there are days in which I don't have anything to do, and my boss says as long as you get your work done, I don't really give a crap. And so it would certainly be nice to be able to work from home and then just spend a day just doing voice recordings the whole day. But yeah, I know not everyone has that luxury, I guess. So hopefully, though, that is the same case for you or something similar, at least.
That's something that I was considering in terms of signing up for voices. I'm really hoping that, because I actually tried the code again recently and it still discounted the price. I'm not sure if it will actually let me check out with it, but it did show the $179 for the year when I just recently did it. So hopefully it will work.
Yeah, that's a hell of a price because it's normally $500 for those of you that are listening.
Yeah, that's why I really want to try it, because I have my microphone like right here next to me. And honestly, I just attend to emails, chats, and phone calls, but some days are really slow. So I feel like I can take advantage of that opportunity to put in a couple auditions whenever I can. I think that could help me out tremendously.
So just to give you context, I caught up with every audition that I wanted, because I archive or I save every audition I wanted to do on Thursday, and then by Saturday there's 39 auditions again. So there is just a constant revolving door. So at the very least, for $180 a year, if you treat this like unlimited practice scripts, it's a deal.
Yeah, agreed. Even at the price that I got it, I got it for $300. I think
I got it for $300
for the first year.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like it's difficult to say because I haven't been cast for anything yet there. But I mean, one job could easily net you the cost that you invested and possibly then some. So yeah, I mean, as long as you kind of keep on it and try to get at least a few auditions in a week, the chances of you paying that back is very high, I would say.
Yeah, based off of what's out there. And just like I'm sure with Fiverr is, once you get your first gig, it's easier to get the second one because now you're building up your reputation. It also has stars. It also has reviews. So you want to keep the client as happy as possible, and that way to boost yourself as you go. Walter says, this business is a long game. Everything you do is for later, not necessarily for today. And this is very true. One of the points I did want to make is that what you're doing right now is you're building your foundation. You're 4 years in, I think, is definitely more experience than I have in the voice acting stuff. I think Renara is close.
About the same.
Yeah.
So I think me and Misty started at the same time.
So you're way ahead when it comes to that stuff.
7 years. I started in 2014.
Yeah,
so
that
someone
would be
can do
7
the
years.
maths.
Yeah, that would be 7.
Okay, so 7. Oh, I'm behind.
But the goal is always, build that reputation, build the people around you that will recommend you when it comes to a lot of these jobs. And then you've got people that come back to you, and that's super awesome. I think that's a lot of people's dreams.
Right.
Definitely.
So we know that you're very experienced when it comes to commercial work, as that's what you're doing predominantly. But you did mention that you want to start branching off into more character work. Is there anything in particular character-wise that you seek out? Like, for instance, I love doing villainous roles. I love doing loud, guttural roles. Is there anything in particular that you tend to seek out?
For me, it would be something that's around my range in terms of something like around my age. Like something around my age, like sort of young adult or adult roles. Nothing that's too, I'd say, like, as, and I don't know if it's one of my fellow voice actors, like she markets herself as like going for very like crazy sort of like psychopathic characters because she can do a lot of like very manic laughs and stuff like that. Like that's definitely not my strong suit. So it's more just a regular, I say, protagonist, although that's very wide in terms of
I was
spectrum.
thinking anime.
Yeah, but it's more regular protagonists are more shy or reserved characters. I'm working on sort of that voice. I've done some practice with that, gotten good feedback in terms of sort of coming across as that kind of character. And I actually am going to be recording soon for a villain role. I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
Nice.
A lot of good practice with that.
Hell yeah.
I would have said that you would be pretty good for like, what's the word? You know, in like some animes, you'll have the bossy girl who's kind of like the one, like she doesn't mince words. You've got the sort of oomph behind your voice, but you've got it's a higher pitch than I could probably do. But I feel like you could probably do roles like all the characters more that have more of a sort of bossy nature to them. I think that would come across quite well with your type of voice, but that's just me.
That's the director in
That's
Renara
the
talking.
doing yeah.
And actually, yeah, I did get that feedback from someone that he was just auditioning for a project for fun in one of my Discord servers, and I auditioned for the regular protagonist. Like, actually, I think you could be like her snarky best friend, which is like a little bit pushy, but she's also like deeply nice. Yeah. And I actually ended up recording for that character, and he said I did really well. I'm really excited to hear how that came out.
Nice.
Very cool.
Walter said, when I started doing hair, I would do haircuts for $5 because otherwise I would make $0. Now I get $40 for a haircut, and over time, as I get busier, I raise my prices. It's about increasing quality of clients, not number of clients. But you can get there, but you can't get there unless you're working. So nothing wrong with doing it for less if it's the alternative is doing nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that catch-22 that we're all in. We can't raise our prices without experience. We can't get experience without gigs. We can't get gigs because everybody undercuts.
Well, when you start seeing it from a business perspective, it does make sense. You know, like businesses that don't have a lot of clientele to work with are going to offer cheaper rates, and as they gain more or higher quality clientele, yes, they will raise their rates. Unless, you know, something happens and business starts to slow down, then they'll start saying, hey, 50% off everything in the store, just to get people back in. And then after they get those people back in, then they can kind of adjust back to where they were. So no, Walter is 100% correct. Like you want to look for more quality over quantity in the long run, but should numbers start to slip, or people are, you know, not offering as much work, then yes, you want to kind of reverse that a little bit and start looking for quantity instead.
Absolutely. Misty, so far, what's been your favorite role?
Definitely the one that I'm doing right now in a fan dub. It's for Danganronpa for the first game for P1. And I'm playing a character that she was my favorite character when I first watched the anime. And I was just really happy to get the chance to do this just for fun. And I think that I've gotten some good practice. People say that I do have a good voice for her, and I auditioned for a paid project, which is a fandom of the actual anime on Casting Call Club. And it looks like it's gotten pretty good reception. So I'm really hoping that I actually get the part. I still haven't heard back from that yet, but that would be fantastic to sort of get experience with one character or a couple characters in this sort of vein, because in that fandom particularly, there's a lot of projects at all times. And it's just a great practice to sort of get familiar, get your name out there, being like, oh, this is the person that does this character really well. We want her for our project. Sort of that notoriety that you could eventually get if you sort of dig your toes really well into it.
For sure.
So is it the I'm trying to remember what it is, the Discord that you're in. Is it, I'm trying to look for it while I'm stalling for time.
I know there's Voice Actors Club. That's a pretty popular one that I know.
I'm in that one.
Okay.
And then
there's also like LTM, I think. But I don't know, that LTM doesn't really do jobs necessarily. That's more for practicing with people and getting feedback and coaching and such.
I thought I saw VAC starting to do some of the interview stuff. They got like somebody who's on the higher end. I keep getting notifications from them, so that's good for them that they're starting to move up on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did an interview with really recently. Oh my gosh, Jennifer Hale. They had Jennifer Hale there recently for an interview. That was really cool.
I looked over because I knew you were going to react, Renara.
Yeah, when I saw her, it was her. I was like, wow, okay.
Oh god. Okay, I missed that. I'm literally kicking myself now. The hell. Oh my god.
Renara, keep sending those letters over to Jennifer Hale. See if we can have her on as a
I
guest.
don't know where to send them. No, if I could ever, like, literally, it's on my bucket list. Like, if I could ever, like, just be able to have a conversation with Jennifer Hale, my life would be made. I will be happy. I could die the next day. I'm good.
So you're saying you'd be useless for that particular podcast if we ever did have her on?
No. A podcast would just overrun quite a lot.
Yeah, it'd be like 3 hours as opposed to 1.
And then I would probably be like, right, I need to disappear before I continuously keep just nattering on about stuff and just, it's embarrassing. Oh god, oh.
I didn't mean to embarrass you. Right.
No, it's fine. She's fine. She is just basically one of my heroes in a voice acting way because, okay. There's always a section of Ren Rambles. Can I have this small little bit?
Oh, I forgot to ask Orange to record that. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so being a woman with a reasonably low voice for a woman in this industry, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Playing video games, doing those things, you used to hear like all high pitched things like that, and like female Shepherd was the first female character that I ever heard have a voice similar to mine. And it was that sort of thing of, oh, people with this voice kind of like can do a thing. And just the games were like I grew up with them and everything. It was kind of like Shepherd, that character she made that character amazing, and I can't word properly anymore, so I'm just gonna stop now. Before I start gushing anymore, gods.
This has been another episode of Ren Rambles.
No. Oh god.
So we just found out who Renara's vocal idol is. Misty, do you have a vocal idol?
Oh, Tara Strong, absolutely.
Oh,
like,
yeah!
It's like she's been in like everything that I grew up with. It's like I admire that woman so much. It's like I could only aspire to ever be that way.
Absolutely.
Did you watch Totally Spies when you grew up, Misty?
Yeah, I did.
Jennifer Hale voices Sam. The ginger one, by the way.
Yes. She just has a very particular voice. It's like if I hear her in anything, I immediately know. And she was actually in the Netflix made a Witcher movie, an animated movie based on The Witcher, and I immediately recognized her voice as one of the characters. Like that's her. I know it. I know it.
Walter in chat says he wants to be Morgan Freeman when he grows up.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Absolutely.
Good aspiration.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to meet God?
Yeah, right.
That's funny. What was my wife's watching Lucifer and they brought in God, and I was waiting. Ooh, that could have been Morgan Freeman, but no, it's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect, actually. Though it's like it's an Allstate guy. It's like yes, perfect.
It is the Allstate.
I love
Okay,
it.
I told my wife it's the Allstate. She goes, wrong guy. No.
It is. Yes, it was like the memes that came out of that were so good.
All right, now I get to say I told you so. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that opportunity there, Misty. So let's get more towards the end of it. So I usually like to ask everybody, and okay, 4 years of experience. How do you like your voice? Are you comfortable with your voice at this point, listening to it?
I can say yes. I've sort of I remember in the very beginning it was kind of awkward listening back, but I feel actually I have like when I first started my YouTube channel, and I was like 16, I think. I can't remember. But super young. And before I went back and hid all those videos in private, I listened just for a tad. And it's very interesting to hear how my voice has evolved and how in just a few years, I didn't think, because like when you're in your own body, you kind of hear yourself talk. You don't notice when it changes.
Yeah.
But I did notice that my voice at that time, it was a little bit more high pitched. And right now, like as I'm listening to my recordings now, I'm like, damn, I actually really like the way it sounds. So it's
Good.
I'm really happy about that.
Positivity.
That's a huge hurdle for most people. I'm
Yeah.
still not a fan of my own voice, even though, you know, sometimes you got to listen to it for hours and hours at a time trying to get something right. And it's just I don't mind it when I'm editing it, but if I ever watch one of my performance, I detest it. I like one I like sink into the black hole that is me and just never come out.
Black like your soul, yeah, milk coffee. you're no.
Walter
I mean,
in chat.
they're also-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there also is a difference between being comfortable with your voice and liking your voice. Like I'm comfortable with my own voice because I've been doing vocals and acting for many, many years now, but I still don't really like it all that much. I wish my voice was deeper, even more so than what it is
Whoa.
already.
Well, you
Exactly.
Walter is saying Allstate guy equals Dennis Haysbert. Thank you, Walter.
Yes.
I often record stuff, then the next day when I'm editing, I'm like, oh, this is shit. Yeah.
I've done that.
I've
Like
done
when
that.
you record a whole session and then you listen and you go, "Oh, this was rubbish," and you
Yeah.
delete all of it
Yeah.
and redo it. Oh,
There's times where I've come out here and edit it, and it's like this whole paragraph is like, no, that's not working. I was like, crap, I gotta go back.
Mhm.
And I gotta...
Yeah.
It's a whole fiasco to try to put it all back together.
Mhm.
Plans so far for you, Misty? Okay, so you got fibers. You want to go into voices.com. Have you looked into, say, like Upwork? I know you want to get more active on Twitter. Where are you planning to go from here?
Upwork. Yeah, I've looked into that for other stuff, but for voice acting, I think I sort of browsed back in the day when I first started, and it feels a lot like it's kind of like voices in that you kind of have to commission yourself. You kind of have to put like a proposal for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll look into that just to see how it's doing currently. I haven't been on there in a while, but my plan's definitely to the microphone I'm interested in. It's the Neat King B2,
Ooh,
and that's
okay.
releasing officially in November. And I want to hear some reviews, sort of audio tests for it, just to get an idea of how it sounds first. And then I really want to get that and an interface that in the Voice Acting Club Discord, they're saying it's a new one. Also, it's in pre-order, but they're saying it's better than like the Scarlett Focusrite ones. That it's already better than that. So it's like, okay, I'll get that and the microphone, and hopefully I'll be really happy once I do that.
Right. I would definitely suggest if you're in the market for looking for a new microphone, go to music shops or any audio equipment places, because I know places like Guitar Center, if they have like a section dedicated to audio equipment, they oftentimes have a bunch of their more popular mics set up so that you can test them out and know exactly what you're purchasing. That's what I do with my microphone, and it was probably the best decision I made as far as purchasing it, because you don't know how you're going to sound with certain mics. And I always like to know exactly what I'm investing in, especially if it's going to be, $200+. So yeah, definitely. I would say, if anything, don't base it on other people's reviews necessarily or their own audio clips, but just go test it for yourself if you have that opportunity.
I'll see if I can, because I think that there is a Guitar Center around here. But I'll most likely have to take like an Uber over there. I don't know. It's not like, I don't think it's somewhere I can take a bus to, but we'll see. We'll see.
Can't get
I'll
back on the
seriously-
bike. Too traumatizing.
Yeah, it's just that because of the distance. Like, I don't think it's within biking distance either. So it's a little tough to get around here. I hate it.
Burnham says, good tip, Eldurrino. So I concur.
Thanks.
I would also like to listen to that particular audition, Walter, if you don't mind sending it to us, if you think that would be okay with that particular group. And I love that. I'm gonna have to go to Guitar Center now. Although I'm not in the market for mic, I've got the two mics I think that I want. Oh, you've already posted it.
Oh, perfect.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, stall for a second here. Let's go ahead and take a quick listen.
So
Lift music.
we usually ask this question as kind of like a roundup. So you have 4 years of working experience. If there was one bit of advice that you could give yourself back then, what would it be?
For back then, maybe I would have told myself to look into upgrading a little sooner, because I feel like even if I had gotten like the AT 2020 or something like that, I think that it would have already opened up a bit more opportunities for me right now. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have been. Well, maybe I always kind of limited myself when I was in El Salvador, but I was always like, I just don't have the opportunities here. I can't find the equipment. And it's like, well, maybe I could have. I'm not sure, but maybe. And I think I closed myself up a little bit. And then maybe if I had taken that chance of looking into it, I could have opened myself up to some other opportunities. Because on Twitter, especially, it's like so many auditions are like nothing below an XLR IQ, no USB mics. So it's like already I don't qualify for quite a lot of stuff. So that's one advice I would have given myself. Go for it. Don't just close yourself off and think the worst.
That's interesting, because I know for the most part, a lot of people, when they answer that question, say, you know, like, don't give up on yourself. Make sure you're always putting out auditions. And your response is, spend more money.
It's like, it's because like I think I would have had the opportunity to do so. I just sort of closed myself off in my mind of like, no, you can't do this here. It's like, well, maybe I could have. I don't know.
Well, I should say your advice to yourself is don't be afraid to invest in yourself for the long run.
I love it.
Nice.
Good spin.
On voices.com.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Magmorta. We're glad to have you lurking here. I appreciate it. All right. I've got this queued up, so if y'all are ready to listen to it, I'm super curious.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
Walter's audition for voices.com. This is titled Bib and Tucker.
When you pour a glass of Bib and Tucker, it's like cracking open the most amazing of stories. Adventurous tales, detailing times where bold and refined came together. Filled with colorful icons who knew that working hard went hand in hand with playing it cool. Visionaries who knew that after you build that bridge to the future, there ain't nothing wrong with a little pomp and circumstance. Small batch bourbon, aged to perfection. Now that's some story. Bib and Tucker.
Damn it, I love your voice, Walter.
Yeah, really smooth.
Yes.
So, can I go first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, that voice was so smooth. I love it. It was like that voice would be perfect for that. Oh, but now I learned a new word this week, guys. I learned the word sibilance, and I learned that's the S sounds that happened, like the sh's and the s's that happen. There are a lot of those in there that make the diction less clear, and I think that is what dragged that down a bit, because I think we started to get a little bit of not a list, but there were certain words that didn't come out as clear as the other ones. I heard some hisses, I heard some bits and bits. I think if they weren't there and it was a lot like clearer in that area, I think that would have been like literally nailed on the head. But I think because there were some little pieces between in parts of words that didn't come out as clear as you'd want, that might, I think that's what I think that. I have no idea if he's got this yet or not. I didn't even realize that. Didn't think about that. But like, if it was me doing, I guess, and that's my criticism on that front, if that makes sense.
So, and as Magmorta put it, I could bathe in that voice.
Yeah.
I loved it. I could tell that you were throwing in the accent for it. The words did get a little mushy. I think that would be the only thing, is just to clear that up. That could have been part of the character too, but in comparison to where we are here, to when we first heard you do the book, dude, night and day.
Yeah, right.
Huge improvement. Good job. You have a speech therapist for good, awesome. And this is exactly what you're improving yourself. You're investing in yourself. Yeah, Dorino, any thoughts?
As far as the delivery goes, it was very good. I agree with what Renara said about the S's, and I in that same vein because I have a more predominant overbite. So S's are a very difficult thing for me to control. So I totally get that. But that with enough practice and just being in the right mindset, you can definitely overcome. The only thing I wanted to say is with the accent, if you're looking to use that as part of your repertoire, don't be afraid to kind of elongate certain syllables. More particular, or the one that I noticed that just jumped out at me was the word future. When you said future, you kind of slip back into your normal speaking voice. There's, especially when it comes to like a drawl, there's certainly particular syllables that require a different way of saying it. Like the R's especially, you want to kind of draw those out a little bit more. So it's you said future and kind of ended it abruptly, whereas you probably want to take that and make it future, and just elongate it a little bit just to keep it in line with the rest of the drawl type accent. Otherwise, no, I thought it was fantastic. I thought I was listening to the voice of God at that moment.
I wanted some Tennessee whiskey just right there.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, for me, it's like honestly the same feedback. Mainly the same thing that Renara noticed. Just those little moments, but otherwise, though, yeah, it's hard. I don't want to repeat the same things you guys did. It was really the same kind of thoughts that I had.
Okay.
Yeah, because overall, it was definitely it was the appropriate tone for that particular script. It definitely sounds like it's something very relaxing, sort of to relax the listener.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say for the future, like, yeah, really roll with that, analyze the script, really sort of get an idea of that's something that we did cover in the class. Like, who are you talking to? Who is this being addressed to? So you did a really good job with this one, and just for in the future, really, really keep that in mind so that you keep nailing the sort of delivery that you want to go for.
Best of luck to you, Walter. Hopefully it works out and you get this particular role. I know. Did it say if it was commercial or radio? In general, obviously it's a commercial, but either way it would work. So congratulations.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Just getting shortlisted is just because you look at these voices.com and you see like 100 responses, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Misty, again, and welcome to the team. We're happy to have you.
I hope we're not as messed up as you thought.
Oh, not at all. I had a lot of fun.
Excellent. Next intro is going to be Eldurrino, and then we have to...
Oh, is it my turn already?
Yeah, shit, man, right? Unless you want to skip, I'll take the next one, and then you can take Halloween, and I don't have to worry so much about it.
We'll see. We'll talk. Because no, like the idea you suggested prior to this, I full-heartedly support. But I want to see what you can do because I've done those type of things before. So I kind of want to see what you can pull off.
Now I'm in a corner. Okay, well that means that you're. We'll talk. Okay, so if you have any ideas for a topic, if you have an audition that you want us to listen to, if you just want to drop us a line, if you have a question, we have a good network of people who are very knowledgeable in everything that we do. ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. I'm aiming to get this available tomorrow by 1 p.m. So if you're listening to this on Monday after 1, yay, it worked. Otherwise, because I'm booking it and I'm about to go on vacation for a couple of days. So
have fun.
Yay.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, happy birthday to my wife, Rose. Happy 40th.
Yay.
We will see you all next week. Thank you so much for being here. Keep those auditions going, right, Renara?
Yep, 100%. Never stop. Believe in yourself. Keep going. One foot in front of the other. Keep going.
I'm going to get you pom-poms for that next time. Thanks, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Drink water.